out the hand, switch, shooters on swoosh, hitters don't miss. Already just added a ton of y'all to my list. Bitch, death wish, not to be messed with, tested quiz. They shooting shots, hitting bricks, we testing the kids.
Welcome to Deep Thrones, the most entertaining podcast in the world of Ice and Fire. I'm your host, Sims. My partner, Sheedy's here. What's up, Sheets?
Hey everybody, how's everybody doing?
Doing fantastic. And we also have the third member of our pod, the master of TikToks herself, Kens. What's up, Kens?
Hey, how we doing?
Welcome back. Welcome back.
I,
Sheets, what's up?
I just gotta say something really quick. You said the master of TikToks herself. You're turning into such a dad. My dad pluralizes everything.
Oh
The
my
master of
gosh.
TikToks.
Oh
The
gosh.
TikToks.
Yeah, that's not good. That's not a good look.
Clip that. We'll clip that.
I did not eat on that one for sure. Uh, so Kens, tell us what your rating was for last episode. What were your overall impressions from that last episode?
I forgot to give it a rating, so I'm just gonna like off the cuff. I feel like maybe like a 5.4
Okay,
I think it's
okay,
fair.
because it
5.4.
wasn't like super exciting, but there were definitely high points and moments that I liked. We can get into it, but I love Adam.
Adam of Hall. Yeah, Adam of Hall
I'm
is big
frozen.
time. Yeah, you froze for a second. It's okay. Just fight through it. Just battle through. You
All
battle
my
through.
homies love Adam Paul.
Hey,
Big time.
there's Stefan Sparklin. That was fun.
Yeah, I like that they're calling him Stefan Sparkling.
RIP, RIP. And that actually was going to be where I opened this episode on topics. You know, a really stalwart, loyal to the grave. I mean, the guy had the wherewithal to leave the coup in King's Landing and come serve his rightful queen. What an honorable man. RIP to the realist. Let's just give a moment of silence for Stephen Darkly.
Yeah, it's too bad he died. Oh,
Okay, that's a moment, but the moment was ruined. The moment
yeah,
was
I
ruined.
listen. Again. I've done it. Stupid. He also went with Rhaenyra to King's Landing, so he was very loyal. He was a loyal. He also was threatened by Daemon last season to not turn his cloak. He never did, and then he died in Dragonfire. So, Stefan Darkland, R.I.P. man.
I also saw, wasn't he the one that stole her crown for her?
I think one of the twins did that.
Oh, okay.
So that's Sir Eric.
Yeah, Sir Eric did that, I believe. But he was like the OG King's Guard, Queen's Guard on Dragonstone. Him and Sir Laurent, and it's just, geez, she's down too.
Oh,
And both of them died honorably. The I've done it was a tough look, I think, going out. But also like no one I don't it doesn't look like anyone in this fictional world has the stop, drop, and roll training. Not that it would help with Dragonfire, but
hmm.
people are just like waddling on the ground.
Yeah, I honestly thought when we were kids in grammar school, they taught us to stop, drop, and roll. Like every year, we did like a very intensive, like bi-monthly training on it. And as kids, we thought like, man, motherfuckers catch on fire all the time. Like we thought we were constantly going to be on fire.
That's true. This guy did a stop, drop, and slit your throat, like the one guy.
Smart
That
move,
was smart.
probably.
That
Yeah.
was smart.
They teach different things in Westeros.
Apparently. Um, so the moment that we've all been waiting for, Sheedy, I'm looking at you. Aemond versus Aegon as king.
Mm.
It's tough, I wish we could have two, but we can't because that would defeat the purpose of the show entirely. But listen, Aemond is our regent right now, and I love Aemond. He's my boy. He's a big force for our team, but Aegon early on was cooking, dude, and I think the realm would bleed less under an Aegon the second rule than it would under an Aemond rule, and I think Aemond is good as a scary enforcer, almost like the Daemon to Aegon's Viserys. You know what I mean? Let's use that. Let's do that because under Viserys there was pretty much peace. The Triarchy rebelled, but technically was still not a land battle fought in Westeros, right? It was across the Narrow Sea. So I would Aegon is my king, But right now, Aemon is my Prince Regent. So
Kinsey, thoughts?
Yeah, I didn't think it could get worse than Aegon, but here we are. So,
everything.
um, I really, I just go back to the moment when Aegon told his brother he to let him run away and escape on a ship and he would get away with it. And then the moment when like now Aegon is understanding that his brother wants to kill him for the throne, like it's just I think it's a really cool dynamic they've got going for storytelling purposes. I think it's a cool thing that the showrunners are doing. But
Yeah.
yeah, Aegon, I feel bad for him, man. I want him back.
You do kind of feel bad for him. I think if we're looking at like an actual efficacy standpoint, like what has each king done? Um, you could argue that even though Aemon's technically taken more action, there's been more negative things that happen to his side in the short span that Aemon has been king. The King's Landing riots are firing up and they're just getting started. The small folk are completely turning against them. Kristen Cole's army is depleted, even though they kind of won by killing Rhaenys and Meleys. Damon's actually starting to get a little bit of head going or headwind in the
Well,
Riverlands
good for Damon. All right.
from his mom. But yeah, so I think if you're just looking at the rap sheet, I do think Aegon kind of has the edge on Aemon.
Aemon inherited that mess, though. He inherited that mess. The economy was in shambles already. He's trying to do what he can. Is he doing things, great? Who knows? But I'm sure he's got a little stimulus package idea or something. He's probably gonna do something to stimulate the economy and get the folks working again. Just got to give it another episode. People haven't listened to me. I've said this since episode one. Just give it another episode, and everything will be fine.
Do you think his mommy at the brothel is gonna do you think he's gonna find out that his mommy at the brothel is betraying him and spreading rumors against their council?
Ooh, if he does, bad news for her. She's losing the head for sure. Like no,
Mhm.
like full stop. He's not going to stomach any of that. I did also see the director did an interview, and they said that the ball scene, because we discussed this on the pod, their interpretation. Again, the director isn't like the end all be all, especially not on TV. They said their interpretation was that it was almost like him bragging a little bit and being like, I could kill you at any second. This is the power you have left is this ball. And he sort of had it on his wound too. And it was
Yeah.
kind of like, just fall in line. That was their interpretation.
But he left it with Aegon though, didn't he? In that scene, I thought.
He did. He left it with
Okay.
Aegon. Kind of
Okay.
like you're over here, so there.
Okay. Well, perfect. Well, let's take a look at the other side here on Dragonstone. Rhaenyra had a hot episode, literally and figuratively. The striking of Bartimos Celtigar. I'm just going to call him Bart because that's a lot to get out. But the striking of Bart, that little slappity slap. What's your thoughts on that?
You go first, Kins, since your team blacks.
I mean, I think it was warranted. Like nobody's given her respect, and I mean, maybe that wasn't the right way to do it, but kings have done way worse to people who give them a little tongue. So like all she did was smack him around a little bit, taught him a lesson, and hopefully she doesn't have to do anything worse. But I do think these
Do
men, they need to
anything
mind their
worse?
tongues.
Yeah, people
Okay.
do worse.
Okay.
Like you cut a person's tongue out for speaking out like that. I liked it too. I think
Yeah.
Rhaenyra, it's good to see her taking charge a little bit. I think that, I think my big sort of takeaway from that scene was like she finally gets it. Like she can't stomach these people anymore. The black scenes in general, I feel like the council scenes have been a bit redundant. And I think the green council scenes have brought a little bit more energy. And this isn't even at me being doing like teams versus greens versus blacks thing. I just think that it's sort of like I would like to have seen Rhaenyra get tired of it way sooner because that dude specifically, yeah, listen, I'm running for Congress, all right, I'm doing the Bill Clinton hands, but yeah, I like the slap. It was warranted. It's fair.
I will say I
I
agree with you about the Black Council meetings. Like they've been really just like there's like one or two lines said max, and then they just peace out.
Yeah,
They're just really short. I don't know. I feel like nothing
yeah.
ever gets accomplished.
Jay
I
stands
think
there looking handsome.
looking handsome and frustrated. Um,
Serving face, as the
Serving
kids
face.
say.
Serving face. I will quick note on the Black Council scenes. I think there was a massive missed opportunity with Corliss's first day on the
Mm.
job. I feel like he should have, like, to your point, both of you guys, when the Green Councils are meeting, it's like, oh, I gotta lean forward and listen. Like they're talking about stuff that actually matters that we're gonna see in future episodes. The dynamic right now between Amond and Laris is awesome.
Yeah.
And then on the Black side, it's like you still have relatively dynamic characters in the room, right? Like Rhaenyra, Jace, Corlys now. There's opportunity to have cool conversations that are meaningful there. And I think they miss the mark every time. And I don't know if that's like an intentional thing or I don't know,
I
but
Mm.
I agree. And you know what's funny is in season one, me and you had a big discussion about this and about how I was like, the side characters need to have their say. Well, in Rhaenyra's scenes, it's too many side characters having their say. Like, what does Corlys and Jace think? Let's hear that now. This is an 8 episode season. Let's
Yeah.
let's stick to the important guns. You go to a Green Council meeting, and Olivia Cook is like must see TV as Alicent. She's great. Uh,
Mhm.
I forgot his name, but the guy plays Aemond. I think his name's Ewan, right? He's amazing as Aemond. I really think the actor's doing a great job. Laris
Mhm.
absolutely killed that episode. That other character dude is sitting there all the time being a piece of shit. He's great, and it's just like you said,
Jasper Wild.
they're discussing actual war stuff, and then Aemon
Mhm.
fires Alicent, and you're like, no, no.
Hmm. And I to add
Maybe.
to that, I think like even the lack of conversation on the green side, like looking at the reactions of different folks on the Green Council and that scene where Alicent was getting overwhelmed because she's realizing that power is slipping from her hands, doesn't even say a line, but it's like it's still very meaningful scenes, and you get none of that on the other side.
Talking it out, that makes me feel like it is intentional then, because like they know how to do a council scene. They know
Yeah.
how to like they have enough players in that room that we care about that they could have those be more meaningful meetings. So maybe that was part of the reason she had to slap someone was like maybe they were just trying to show how like unproductive her council is.
I hope so. I hope it's an intentional play, and that we see a little bit more from the Black Council. My take on this slap particularly is we're seeing Rhaenyra becoming unchained. And in contrast to what we saw earlier this season with her trying to reel everyone back in and hold on to peace, she's starting to unravel a little bit. She mentioned in the episode previously that she was getting restless and no one's letting her do what she needs to do. And then now we see her slapping someone. We see her falling into her passions later on. So I think
Mm.
this might become a theme as we look forward, just seeing how Rhaenyra reacts a little bit less restrained.
I like falling into their passions. That's a nice way to word it.
You know,
Poetic.
Yeah.
but that leads us perfectly into the next conversation. Rhaenyra and Mysaria. There's been a lot of chatter about it online.
Yeah.
There's even been a little bit of controversy. Sheeds, we'll start with you on this one. What were your thoughts on that scene?
Yeah, I thought it was like I actually thought it was a good scene. Like all the stupid joking aside, like I felt like, I felt like Rhaenyra just was looking for anybody at that point to be her friend. Like all season we've seen Alicent, when she needs to unwind, she's got Kristen or, whatever. And Rhaenyra has had really a tough season in terms of like her council disagreeing with her. She lost Rhaenys, the issue with Jaehaerys. We'll call it the issue with Jaehaerys, where people sort of misunderstood her intentions there, grappling with Luke's death. Like we forget that happened this
Mhm.
season, essentially, her really dealing with it. And I think that she felt that finally someone is not questioning my every single move. Someone actually thinks I'd be a good ruler, and she gave her a kiss. I don't think it'll be dragged out because it was Emma's idea for that scene. I think it was a one-time thing. And like you said, they fell into their passions.
Kens?
Yeah, I thought it was, I mean, natural. Like it was just a natural thing that was happening. At the before they even hugged, I was like, there's something going on here. And like that's
Mm.
I feel like I don't know. I feel like it's always how I don't know. I thought it was great, but I get that book readers are upset because they never had a romance, but like you said, one, let's all remember this is a fictional history book
Yeah.
So I don't understand how like that wouldn't be if they did have a kiss, it wouldn't be in the history book. But like you said, like I don't think this is going to be a whole drawn out romance. I think it was just a falling into passion, like just a passionate moment for somebody who is definitely going through a hard time. And I'm pretty sure Masseria enjoyed it too. So, you know,
I agree. I think book readers were just jealous because they rarely kiss anybody, probably. I think
All
that's
right,
it.
ah,
let's stop the book reader
All right,
slander here before
sorry.
we
That
get
was
too far.
low hanging
Uh,
fruit. I had to go for it. Not kidding.
that
I'm a book reader.
as a fellow book reader, Kens, you said something that I think is really important there. There wouldn't have been any source from that time, or I say it from that time like it was real history, from that book that would have been in that room. I mean, maybe
mhm.
you can make a case for Mushroom being in that room, but he was the court jester, right? So like, even though he was close with Rhaenyra and claimed to be like her close counsel at some points in the book, I don't. There's a strong chance, probably whatever 80% chance that he wouldn't have been privy to that information. So the fact that people are freaking out about it and saying it's not in the books, like half the stuff that we've seen, like Aemon's decision, or I guess lack of decision to kill Luke and Vagar making that decision was not in the books. No one
Mhm.
really challenged that.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Sheets. You're about to say
So
something.
two things that sort of drive me nuts though about this specific show in the quote unquote books is that like the Dance of Dragons is like 100 pages. If that. I think it's less. Didn't I count once? It was like 81 or something.
Yeah.
There is,
In a world of ice and fire, or
I'm
in
not sure. It might have been in the one that you gave me. But
yeah.
regardless, it's not like it's not much there.
Hmm.
They have to create the stuff. Like that's why like when people are like the books when it comes to this specific story, like Dunk and Egg to me is way more fleshed out than the Dance of Dragons is in the
Oh yeah.
writing. And then you look at like Game of Thrones and it's like, well, you still watch that show and I don't recall seeing Lady Stoneheart walking around. You know what I mean? Where
Yeah.
was after Catelyn dies in the books, she comes back. She's hanging
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
People had theories that Lady Stoneheart would show up for like seasons and then it
Oh,
eventually passed and people were pissed.
I'm sure they did. I am sure they did.
Look,
What's
I
that,
get it.
Kens?
I am a huge book reader, like literally books all over my house. I am normally the person that is on the fandom of like I've read the books and watching the show and I'm super picky. I'm normally there, but like you can't do that with this book. It is a fictional book, and what do we know about fictional history book and what do we know about regular history books is like they get things wrong all the time. So that's the one thing these show writers have going for them. And it's just really it's I mean it's as the master of TikTok, it is really pissing me off about the TikTok book readers because one, they don't know what a spoiler warning is, and they think it's fun to just like post book art and spoil how the season is going to end. And two, yeah, they're getting mad over little personal details that wouldn't be in the book.
Yeah, and Hollywood
Well said.
also in nonfiction stories changes things around to make it more entertaining and palatable. So,
Yeah.
the final like Saving Private Ryan, other than D-Day, is entirely fictional. You know what I mean? Like it's a real thing within a fake thing. It's like, come on, guys, relax.
Hey,
But
For
never
for
let the
those
truth get in the way of a good story. That's what I always say.
That's right. That's right. The master of TikToks herself. I will say, for those who aren't book readers or haven't read Fire and Blood, there's actually like three of these now: Fire and Blood, Rise of the Dragon, and World of Ice and Fire. The perspective of the Dance of Dragons coverage is from a maester who is writing about 50 years after all of these characters in the story died. So he's going off of like three primary sources that he found years later. So it is 100% feasible that there's stuff that we see in the live story being played out that was not in that book. And I think that's an intentional decision by George, the writer. And I think it gives the show writers a lot of liberty to be able to flesh out some scenes that, are surprises. And I kind of, I appreciate that as a reader and a watcher. So
yep. Cool.
um, the episode
Well
wraps
put.
up. The episode wraps up with Adam Valeri. Oh, sorry, Adam of Hull, um, getting chased down by sea smoke, and then we don't know what happens there. What are you guys' takes on that? There's a theory, and I think was this you, Sheedy, who wrote the theory
Yeah.
about the dragon? Okay, take us through that.
Well, if Sea Smoke was so ornery all episode and they have such a bond to their dragon riders, the theory online is that Laenor, that means probably died in Essos because it clearly was like in mourning and it now is specifically seeking out Adam of Hull. Then that means Laenor is probably dead.
Damn. R.I.P.
Not
I
meant to
saw
be.
that theory too.
Yeah, but I liked it. Obviously, we need more dragons in the mix. Adam had to get Sea Smoke if he even got him. I guess we'll see next episode. Who knows? But yeah, hopefully. Good luck.
Is Adam going to be Team Green or Team Black?
He'll be Team Green if he knows what's good for him.
What? No, he can't be. He's not.
Uh yeah. Okay. Have you seen Grandmaster Orwile?
I have, yeah.
Yeah, smoke show. Kristen Cole, handsome guy. Handsome guy.
Mm, Christy
It-
Cole.
I was this is a side note. I was doing my rewatch in the scene where Kristen Cole's leaving the King's Landing gates. Allison and him kind of share a long gaze. Looked like that might be like a kind of, oh, this is the last time we might see each other sort of look. I don't know.
But I wonder that, yeah, I wonder. Hopefully they've spanked recently. It hasn't shown it in a while. Yeah, they didn't get one for the road. It's too bad.
Didn't get one for the road.
Wait, can we go back to Adam, to the
Yeah.
latest Hawkeye babe of not how to train your dragon? That's what I almost said. But I did love this moment because I've never seen in Game of Thrones where like the dragon chooses the rider. And I thought that was really cool. And is that a part of dragon lore? Is that accurate? Is like something that happens? Or I know I was just bashing book readers, but like this feels like something that they might want to stick to. Is that something that's feasible in the world?
Yes, and there's only been like a small sample size. So
Cool.
up until this point, what's recorded or what we have in the books, most of the dragons have been domesticated. So they've already like had riders because the Targaryens were so plentiful. There's never lack of heirs in the Targaryen family up until this point. And then there's another dragon who we get a peek in the Vale, who's also wild, but doesn't particularly have a rider at this point. So that could be a story to watch in that regard. But past this point, yeah, we don't really. I mean, the next dragons we see show up on record are Dany's dragons. So,
But
and they had no choice in the matter.
But also, though, in terms of, yeah, the bonding, but in terms of when they are bonded, the connection they have with their riders, multiple times, like the Sons of the Harpy scene, Daenerys being in peril, she would do this thing where she would kind of close her eyes and Drogon would show up. The Sons of the Harpy scene. So this is set up in Game of Thrones that, like, they kind of just know where they are. They can sense their location. And Drogon and Viserion and Rhaegal did that on a couple of occasions. I saw a video explaining it. I was like, oh, that is true. So I sort of gave that scene more leeway then, because at first I was kind of like, "Are you track? You got one of those Apple track things on them? What are you doing here?"
Yeah,
I thought it was badass. Like it was just a really cool moment. I love dragons, so I thought it was cool. And I will say the one thing I thought that was like, I don't know if the right word is kitschy, but like a little too coincidental is like Rhaenyra decides, oh, hey, maybe we should start trying other people other than our direct descendants for dragons. And then that very same episode, Adam and not Sea Smoke. Sea Smoke? Yeah.
Sea Smoke, yeah.
You know,
That's
just
their
a
moment.
little bit like the pacing of that is a little, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's been the show's
Yeah.
problem since day one. I think that's been my main critique of it too, is just the pacing in general. The scenes, I like love the scenes. It's just, but the story's moving forward, so I'm good with it. But I would prefer crescendos and like a 10 episode season. It sounds like actually HBO told them no to 10 episodes because of
Oh.
like budgetary reasons.
Ah,
Yeah.
Goddamn
Sad.
budgets.
I thought the checkbook was open, but that
Each
sucks.
each episode of House of the Dragon essentially costs like almost double, I think, what Game of Thrones did. And HBO is like, listen, we love it, but like you
Chill
gotta do it
out.
in a way. Yeah. So they made him
Yeah,
reel it in a little bit. But Chris,
yeah.
what's next for the team of your team? What's next for for those guys?
Team Black. So, what's the payoff from this King's Landing strategy? You know, I thought it was a master stroke, and we talked about this on the review, sending the supplies and food into King's Landing for the small folk to turn to the Rhaenyra side. We see it kind of paying off already, but I feel like it's going to build up. But we'll see what happens from that strategy. Damon and Oscar Tully are vibing. It looks like from the look ahead that we saw last week. Of course, Oscar Tully's dad died, or great granddad died. Um, so now he's in charge of the Riverlands essentially, and Damon and him are meeting in the next episode. We already talked about it. Adam of Hull and Sea Smoke. What does that look like? Is Sea Smoke with him? Seems like he is. Which side is he going to join? And then more dragons. I mean, we still have dragons within the Dragonmont that need riders. We still have the dragon in the Vale that could potentially have a rider. So lot cooking with the Blacks.
Yep, a lot cooking with the Blacks. Now on to Team Greens, the more exciting team, the team that has kept these episodes afloat, quite frankly. I mean, let's be honest. We got to look at the repercussions of the King's Landing riots. Probably nothing. I assume everyone's sort of settled down. Sometimes tempers flare. Kristen Cole is on the march again. This poor guy can't catch a break. He's marching all over the place. I assume it'll be very successful. Daron has been mentioning it a lot. It sounds like Daron and Otto are going to be back in the mix. Let's look forward to that. Otto's going to be appealing to the triarchy. He's hashtag back. We're all very excited, but I'm going to be very curious to see where he appeals to the triarchy because maybe he did a switcheroo earlier in the season. But if he's at Old Town and then all of a sudden is in, Pentos or wherever they are in Essos, it's a bit jetpacky. We'll keep an eye on that. Laris is getting Aegon back in the fight. Laris is appealing to, honestly, and not soon enough. The show's missing Aegon. His personality in the first 3 episodes carried the show. And we wish our king well. And just at the end here, I think Chris put, oh, you did. Cool. Greens have been the most entertaining scenes this season. All right.
I certainly did not put that.
Someone did. Someone did.
I mean, I wonder who would have done that. I will say it is refreshing to see Laris showing that moment of humanity in front of Aegon. I don't know. It probably was manufactured by him just to get on Aegon's good side and kind of again try to latch himself to Aegon because Aemon won't have it. But it was a great scene.
All right. Well, that's probably why my Syria kissed Rhaenyra was to latch herself onto her and to weave her way in. So yeah, probably similar thing done by her, I guess. The house that the dragons built. Let's quickly run through some of the things we saw on that. It was not much in there. I watched it. Patty's back. Everyone was excited. Everyone loves Patty, King Viserys himself. Everyone everyone was like, oh, the king's back. I was like, relax, Patty, relax a little bit. But they did make a giant Patty statue that he wanted, or King Viserys statue that he wanted to take, and his wife apparently said no.
Yeah, couldn't set it up in the garden. However, Patty's like he might be the silliest goose. We have to keep in mind for the silliest goose award at the end of the season because
Yeah,
he's just having a blast on set.
that was a teaser right there. We haven't announced that yet, so we'll
We
save
haven't
this.
announced it.
We'll save
Yeah,
it. We'll save it. But everyone now is going to be like, oh, what are they talking about?
Easter eggs.
Consider yourself
I love
teased.
I love Patty, but I do wonder if these visions that Damon has been having has just been a vehicle for cameos, like because they know that gets the views and that people like it. At this point, that's what it feels like.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, most likely.
Um,
Again, we talked about this. David, in this part of the story, they don't have anything really, so they probably are like, "What the fuck do we do with this guy?"
Yeah.
They had an issue keeping all the candles lit in that one scene with all of the, for when Patty is crying over Emma Aaron.
Yeah, I would not have expected them to use real candles. I feel like there has to be a better solution, whether it's like a green screen or like I don't know, but that kind of flows into the budget conversation that we were having. They made a comment that they like use the most candles in the UK or something. Like it's
Yeah,
insane.
I don't know. They sell those like electronic candles at Michael's. Just get those and flick them on. No one can tell the difference. They look real.
Start cutting some corners so we can have 10 episodes. How about that?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
agree with that. I agree with that.
legit.
Do we need Bela to chase Kristen Cole on Dragonback? No, didn't need that scene. Didn't need that
I
scene at
liked
all.
that part.
We're just not going to agree on anything, are we?
No.
The King's Landing riots. There's a lot of camera work in that. It was a cool, like the way that they filmed it. Um,
Yeah.
Fia and Olivia doing kind of like their own stunts. Um,
Yeah,
and then, and then
stunts used
she
loosely.
she took a fish in the face.
She did. She took multiple fish in the face. So the camera work style, they shot it as kind of like one moving scene, which they're seeming to do a lot in Caceres, Spain, because they had the space to be able to do it. But yeah, the fish they made like fake fish that were actually like gross, I guess. Even the fake ones were. And Olivia's just getting pelted with them, scene in and scene out. And then she had to like run down the stairs and fall onto like a pad. And she was like, I'm never doing stunt work again. Okay.
Yeah, apparently the dude who threw it to was like a cricket player. So she was like
Uh,
he had a hose. He was like, you know,
a little hot.
yeah, yeah. Apparently the Alan's hair scene was difficult to do. I saw that part too. I was surprised to get Alan to shave his head.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought again that there would have been some sort of like better solution to make it a little bit more streamlined, but they used like a spray of some sort, and then he had to like study how to shave, which was interesting to me that he's never had to shave before with a straight razor. But I digress. They ended up actually not even using his hand to do it after he studied to shave, and they used like an actual barber's hand instead.
Handstand in.
Yeah.
Dude, that's wild. That's like that abducted in plain sight documentary when that dude used the handstand in when he was jerking off in the car.
What did the guy say again? I need someone to help me.
No, the dude in the documentary to make it sound to not say I jerked this guy off said I helped him masturbate.
Right. All time.
Yeah,
All
all time.
timer.
All time swerve. All time getting ahead of the story. Burying the lead. This is how the press works. This is fake news. Um
This is why people come to Deep Thrones.
to get the facts.
Right.
They call Sir Stefan Darkland Sparkland, and to that end, two stuntmen were actually lit on fire in that scene. It was very cool.
Yeah, I think it's extremely disrespectful to Sir Stefan to make fun of his name like that. I think it was tragic what happened. They actually lit two people on fire, which is like a travesty in itself, even though they were fine. But yeah, they're just like making this joke about it, like it's no big deal. I took it rubbed me the wrong way.
Rhaenyra rebounded so fast. She was literally swapping spit with my Syria later that episode. And she's like, "You're so warm to the touch." She's like, "Oh, I was just, my fucking night was just a human candle." So, no
Uh,
justice in this world. Adam of Hull actor Clinton Liberty did his own stunts, and he's Irish.
oh, he's Irish. I didn't know that. I
He's
didn't put
from,
that
yeah.
together.
His family emigrated to Ireland, I think, when he was either super young or not born yet, and he has an Irish accent. Clinton Liberty.
Cool. Yeah, he's the man. He's all my homies love Adam, Clinton's daddy right now for now, while Damon's off doing his visions.
Okay.
But yeah,
Hard disagree. Aegon and Larys are both daddies, but go ahead with Clinton.
I don't think
Needed
he could
it.
be
We needed
less
it.
daddy. I don't think he could
Who?
be less daddy than Laris and Aegon right now.
Well, I think disagree. Larys is very daddy. Hashtag, ooh, let's get that trending. Hashtag Daddy Larys. Let's make it happen, Green Posse that listen to this in
All
droves.
three of you, yeah.
Yeah, whoever listens to this is Teams Greens. Hashtag Daddy Larys. Let's drown out the noise.
Would either of you do your own stunts, you think, like on a show?
Yeah, I would try to. It depends on the stunt.
Yeah,
Pins?
like I would take a fish to the face, but I wouldn't get lit on fire. No
Yeah,
way.
agreed. I would let the fish hit me in the face, but I would not get set on fire.
Do you get like the stuntman's the money that would go to the stuntman too. Like, do you get paid more if you're doing your own stunts?
I don't think there's a scenario if you're an actor where they light you on fire. I think that that's like the stuntman is doing that every time. I think like
Even Tom Cruise, you don't think Tom Cruise
Mm.
would get lit
ooh,
on
that's
fire?
interesting. He might, but that's different. He's of a higher understanding than we are. He's on a different plane than we
He's
are. So
enlightened.
he can't like technically you're not lighting Tom Cruise on fire. You're Tom Cruising fire. You know what I mean?
Mm.
You're giving Tom Cruise to the flames and they're accepting his being. Um,
He
so
has so many thetans just jammed up
yeah,
inside of
I
him.
mean, no, not anymore.
Mm.
He's achieved clear for sure.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know the
You're being
lore.
well, I do, so don't fuck with me. You're being a real suppressive person right now. You're an SP, and when you're an SP, we have to remove you because you are full of Thetans. You're probably chock full of Thetans. You're not even at OT level 1 yet, bitch. All right, on to the final segment.
Yes, yes. Time to have some fun.
I just,
So what starts tomorrow?
tomorrow
Dun,
Actually,
is
dun, dun,
wait, it's
dun.
Wednesday. This comes out on Wednesday. So what starts today?
the Olympics.
The
The
Olympics.
Olympics.
That's
And
right.
who's carrying the flag for the US or the torch for the US? LeBron James.
LeBron.
Yeah, it's very exciting.
Oh,
It's very cool. He deserves it.
nice.
This will probably be his last Olympics. Who knows though, the rate he's
Yeah,
going.
who knows, man? He'll be on the Olympic team with Brownie too.
Mm.
Bronny's making the Olympic team.
If LeBron has a say in it, which he does. So with the Westeros Olympics, okay, each of us is going to choose a region or a seven kingdom or a kingdom of the seven kingdoms. And we list five characters and
Mm,
their corresponding sport. And then we
mm.
will make a case for our region winning the Olympics. For example, if someone chose Dorn, they could say Oprah and Martell, fencing, and then you make your case for beating the other seven kingdoms that we guessed.
And it could be both season Olympics. It could be summer and winter. It's just the Olympics.
Yes,
It doesn't need to
yes,
be.
and that's also a good point. It's all time within the Westeros world, so you can do Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon, you could do Age of Heroes, you could do anything. So, yes, all encompassing. Um, let's have Sheedy. You can start this one, I think.
Okay. I chose the Riverlands because I felt like there's a lot of pure natural athletes in said Riverlands. So let's go number one, right off the top. Brendan the Blackfish Tully. First off, he's going to be our team leader, and I put him in swimming because they call him the
Okay.
Blackfish, and he grew up around rivers. So you gotta believe that dude can get. He's got gills. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Number two, Allison Black Alley Blackwood. I can't wait to see Black
Black
Alley.
Alley.
She is, I will say, I'm not a book purist at all, but if she is cut from future episodes of House of the Dragon, I will literally riot. She can't be. But her sport would be archery, I feel like, right? Wasn't she well
Oh
trained
yeah,
with a bow?
one of the best.
Number three, I needed a big, strong boy on my team, and I went with Harwin Strong. All right. He's a
Okay.
wrestler, and I got him doing wrestling. Call him,
Ooh, a
they
little
call him,
wrestling.
they call him Break Bones for a reason. Number four, Benjicott Blackwood. Obviously, another one that we're going to be seeing, hopefully, 100-meter sprint. And number
Ooh.
five, I went with someone that many people probably forget grew up in the Riverlands, I believe, or at least, oh, wait, I think he was a ward in the Riverlands. Does that count? And he also
Mm,
inherited Harrenhal at one point.
we'll count it.
Peter Baelish. And
Oh,
I put him in curling because he's so fucking slippery.
okay. Okay. Um, do we want to go through each of ours and then we state the case? Yeah, because you don't know what
Yeah.
to state the case
I don't know
against
what I'm
at this
battling.
point.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. All right. Kins, you want to go next?
Yeah. Yours were so well thought out and very good. But I chose the North
Yay.
because in the Winter
Yay.
Olympics, like Winter Olympics, you guys have no shot. None. Um,
Well, we'll see once we get there.
sorry. Sorry, we're pitching at the end. Okay. So my team leader, Ned
Uh,
Stark, the one and only. I picked him for ski mountaineering, which is I have no idea what that is, but it feels like he'd be good at it. So
mhm.
Okay.
um
Okay.
So yeah, that one.
Stark scheme out me.
He'll be super he's gonna be super aerodynamic without his head.
I have Kragan Stark,
Yeah.
in winning gold in the event of serving face,
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
that's my favorite Olympic
as
sport.
the kids say, because that's really all he did so far this episode or this season. And then I have Jon Snow winning in time management because she just
There's no
Love
time.
it.
because there's no time. And then this one might be controversial, but I do feel like he's fierce, and he could really work. Ramsey Bolton
Hmm.
on my
Okay.
team. Yikes, I hate him for sure, but I feel like he'd be good at the biathlon, which is like the ski and shoot,
He
because
was
he's a good hunter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he loves the archery too. Well, pretty good
Okay.
list.
Okay.
I liked it.
Good.
Thank you.
Good pick. I thought for sure Rickon Stark was going to make an appearance just to fluster Sheedy.
Oh,
Don't
that
even
downward skiing one that goes.
don't even don't
oh
even
yeah, yeah.
don't even think about him anymore. Don't even cross my mind. I wanted bigger and better
Okay.
pursuits.
I'm gonna roll with so okay, I know that I said the reach, okay, but the number one rule of competition is if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. So I actually went with the Westerlands, and you guys shouldn't have believed me because I'm the competition.
It
Okay.
didn't again, I
So
didn't
so
even
you
read
guys
that. I didn't even read the text.
so you guys are already losing. My first pick, Tywin Lannister, rowing. Okay.
Hmm.
The guy leads the squad the best. He's gonna get everyone going the right direction. The Hound, shot put.
Hmm.
Absolute cannon, dude's jacked, shot put. The Mountain, you might think like wrestling or something, right? No, basketball. Guy's going to be dunking on everybody. See him in the post, you're going to get murdered. Cersei Lannister, flag football, girls flag football in the Olympics this year. You want her on her team. She's going to be absolutely cutthroat out there, leading the team to the championship. And then finally, Tyrion Lannister, he's going to be doing gymnastics. You know, he's going to be flipping around. He's going to be doing a great job, and also going to get us the goal. So that's the squad from the Westerlands.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm mid. Yeah, they'll get like a couple silvers. They'll be like fifth on the list, I feel like.
Okay.
None of them
Okay.
can serve face, not a single one.
No, I feel like my list by far is the best. The Hound, first off, the second the Hound sees the Olympic torch, he's gonna be like, "I'm out, fire," and he's gonna take off.
Mm.
Ooh.
You know,
Okay. I like that. I like that.
the mountain too. Like he's gonna get up the court one time and be fucking gassed because
Mhm.
Oberyn did one twirly do, and he was like, "Oh my God," he's like, "I'm gonna throw up these cheese fries I housed before this fight." It's just Oberyn stopped moving. That's why he was able to get him. You know what I mean?
I mean, okay, counterpoint. The Hound can just like stay on one side of the court. You know, you toss him the ball, whatever, he'll dunk.
Yeah, that's okay. That's fine. Is
Nobody plays defense anymore anyways.
absolute defensive, no blocking presence in the post. We're going hard in the paint the entire time.
Continue with your case. Let's state your case
I'm not
for
a
the Riverlands.
I like dimming other people's candles. You know what I mean? They say like
Okay.
don't yuck other people's yums. But I enjoy doing that. I like
Yeah.
if mine is meh, then I want to make everyone else's feel worse. No, I so here, let me just say this. Brendan Blackfish Tully is a legend. All right. And fish is in his name. And what do fish do?
They swim.
All right. Allison, Black Alley, Blackwood. All right. You love her. You love her.
I do.
You
I
do
do.
love her.
I love Black Alley.
She's archer. Archery's her thing. Harwin Strong, his nickname is Breakbones. What's more wrestler than that? And then Peter Baelish, one of the slipperiest guys that's ever slipped, curling. It's on ice.
One of the slipperiest guys that's ever slipped. Okay, that's a strong case. Kins, defend the North.
I will say you guys make strong cases, but I do also feel like we're all competing in different Olympics. Like
Yeah.
none of us picked a single a single of the same events. So again, I just got to say Winter Olympics, even though I could only think of two events, I think the Starks and all of the Northmen would be very good. at Olympics.
Yeah.
That's all
Okay.
I've got.
Okay.
Sims.
I think I kind of defended mine as I was saying them live. I will say, they definitely are the most prestigious. Like, we have the most money, kind of, or at least at one point we did. So we'd be able to train our athletes better and maybe do a little bit of blood doping and not get caught. And also, the North for sure is just way too honest. Like, if you're not cheating, you're not trying. You really wouldn't stand a chance with any of these other athletes. You go to the Olympic Village, you run into the Hound and the Mountain walking around. You're gonna have a bad time. So that's my pitch.
You want to talk about training? Heron Hall is one of the tallest castles in the Seven Kingdoms. We go up top, we train up there. That altitude, that lower oxygen, by the time we come down to Earth levels, we're going to be so fucking, like, we're going to be breathing so hard. We're going to be breathing so much better than both sides. That's what they do. This is true. Olympic athletes train in Colorado because of the altitude, because it's harder to run in the high altitude. So when you do it, your body becomes like more efficient. So we're going to be doing that.
You ever seen those people in the gym with the low oxygen mask? And that's what they're doing.
I don't go to the gym.
No.
To that point, we have the wall, the highest
That's
of the
true.
altitudes. So.
That's true. That's true.
That's a good point.
The Night's Watch, though, is sworn to stay out of conflicts of the Seven Kingdoms. So I think if they let you guys use the wall, technically they're forsaking their oath, and they should lose their heads. In my opinion.
We just went over this. If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
Right.
Chris is right though. Those Northerners, you gotta be careful.
Damn right. Well, I appreciate everyone for joining and listening in. Hopefully you learned something, or at least had a little bit of fun with us. Please like, share, subscribe. If you can join us on YouTube, you get to see how dapper Sheedy looks every single episode, so you can't miss that. Kins, thank you for joining and your week in and week out contributions to the pod. And that's all I've got.
Thank you again, Kinsey. And Allison, hit me up. I would love for us to fall into our passions.
Check out the hand, switch, shooters on swoosh, hitters don't miss. Already just added a ton of y'all to my list. Bitch, death wish, not to be messed with, tested quiz.